and your partner as well, Yahya, I think it's Yahya said yes. Greetings to you, and the viewers and listeners as well. I'm glad to be invited to this program. I'm really humbled. Like you rightly said, I'm one of the politicians in the country, and is party leader and secretary general of the People's Alliance Party, known as PAP. So I'm wishing all the Gambians, I know it's post, Eid al-Adha, Tabaski, or Banasalo, like we call it in our local languages. Wishing every Gambian, wherever you may be, wishing you the best in all your endeavors. I'm praying for the nation as well. All the good wishes that we have for the country and her citizens, so that we become more prosperous. We succeed in whichever area we specialize in all our pursuits. Besides that, I think, like you mentioned rightly, tomorrow, supposedly the 19th, which is Thursday, we understand that the head of state, the president, is supposed to address the nation, like what we call State of the Nation's address by the president. So this is common. It happens all the time. It's normal. People would have expectations, rightly, that issues that are pertinent to people within the society.
Okay, Mr. Manneh,
Yeah.
first of all,
Mhm.
why is it important for the president to appear before National Assembly once every year to conduct this sooner?
Well, it is a requirement, but I think, in fact, the president is supposed to address the citizens. This is one time that he will go to the National Assembly and face them. But what is expected of every president is either directly by him, or indirectly by people like the spokespeople who are related close to the government, who will be like the mouthpiece of the government. It's expected that they will come to address the nation frequently. Whenever something arises. And some things need to definitely be addressed by the president, so that people can have an understanding of his position about things and issues. People will also, that way they'll have confidence that at least the president is informed, he is aware, and there's a direction that he is taking, because he's the one actually leading the people. So he has to be informed. He should know better than the average person. So, and to allay the concerns and the fears of people, it's good that he addresses this. So this is like a statutory requirement that he goes to the National Assembly. This is common throughout the world. It's a norm in most places that presidents would definitely address their people at the House of Representation. So it's a good thing. It's been here all along, and so it's a normal thing to do.
Okay, Mr. Manneh, we realize that this State of the Nation address will tell us what the country has been going through for the past 12 years,
Mhm.
and what the country will be doing in the next 12 months. Sorry,
Mhm.
in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
So in this State of the Nation address, because from here we won't have a State of the Nation address again until the
Yes.
next 12
Next.
months. So what are you expecting from the president to address the nation on?
Well, actually, it's two things. One is what I expect, what I would wish. The president to at least, or things that I would want the president to mention. During his when he's addressing the nation, that would be my wish. And the other thing is, what do I expect? I mean, from the president when he's addressing the nation. Well, I will start with the expectation, and then I will finish with my at least wishes or areas that I think are important for the president to address. Um, uh, Based on experience, what has prevailed in the past, or what we've had the president mentioned in the past 8 years since he became the president in 2017. I really cannot even remember. The things that he's mentioned or highlighted during those previous years. It's very generic. When he's addressing the country's problems, sometimes you can feel a bit of, politicization. in some of his comments. But by and large, I mean, it's not. He has never mentioned things that will definitely, wow an average person. Things that he would say, and you would be like, wow, this guy really understood what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. He's on the right track. He's leading us, and we believe that we're heading to the promised land. We're heading to success. So every time he will talk about the infrastructure that he's done, and the developments that he has achieved more than the former, presidents. So nothing that has ever convinced me. So therefore, if you ask me about my expectation of the State of the Nation address to be that he will do tomorrow, my expectations are very low, and I'm not willing at the moment to give the government or the president, if you may, the benefit of the doubt that I will hear anything of quite significance or importance that the average Gambian will feel comfortable. Or personally, I will feel good and say, okay, you know what? Yes, we're in opposing camps. He is the president, he has his party, we are in our own party, we may differ in ideas, but at least he understood where he's going. So I don't expect anything serious. I don't expect much because I think from what I understand, it doesn't seem like from the former addresses that were done by the president, the ideas were his, original ideas. It seems like they were just written and he would come and read and say, just for the sake of, saying something. And, if you want to lead people, you have to at least understand a lot. You have to be very informed. It's better to be more informed than most. You have to be more informed than most people. The average Gambian would expect that if you are the head of the country, if you are leading the country, you must have a vision. You have to have a foresight. You should know where you're trying to take the nation to. People should see that, they can believe you, they can follow you, even blindly, that you would lead them somewhere where at least they will achieve, their goals. But for the president, I don't expect very much. It doesn't seem like he's very informed. He's been led instead of him being the one to lead. So that is as far as expectations are concerned. I don't expect much. If it is a 1 to 100 and its pass mark is 50, I don't expect anything more than 15 or 20.
Okay, Mr. Mane, you have said your expectation nothing more than 50, but we have seen currently we have seen pressing issues, the likes of the oil scandal, the likes of the murder cases, high murder cases in the Gambia, the security, the skyrocketing of livings, that is the sector of agriculture. Don't you think these are key areas that need to that light need to be set on?
Thank you very much. I'm glad you mentioned some of these things. These are issues that we would expect the president to address, but not really to just, I mean, cross these things and just mention them for the sake of mentioning them. You can say that, a president can say, yes, I will fight corruption. I will not encourage corruption in my government. They can say that the healthcare will do a lot of improvements. Or the schools, they can say, we've built, so many classrooms. That's not what we are looking at. And that is like cosmetics, just making things look beautiful and nice, but without going in details with the substance. Now, what I would expect the president to say is that, you know what, of late, there's been a lot of mention about this oil scandal, these petroleum issues with oil drilling. And there was the former president mentioned that our neighboring country, at least they are siphoning or, they're finding ways to get our oil. I would expect the president to come and said, in 5 good minutes, Gambian would be willing to listen and said, you know what, this is what happened. These companies came. Nothing happened. I'm not the expert at it, but I've worked with my technicians and the experts in that field in the petroleum sector. And this is what happened with FAR. The reason why no exploration happened is because of this, and we are comfortable and satisfied that they left in good faith. The country has benefited from the relationship that we had from them or the opportunities that we've given to all the oil companies. But not only that, we are aware that, the proximity of Gambia's oil blocks and that of Sangomar in Senegal, they're very close, less than 500, about 500 meters or thereabout. So it's too close for comfort. And I believe that with current technology, it is possible to definitely be in Senegal and be able to drill Gambia's oil. But he need to allay our fears and our concerns and tell the Gambian citizens that I am going to meet the Senegalese counterparts from what you have said to see how best we can collaborate with them so that we can have a joint venture whereby the Gambia can benefit from it. But I will give you this assurance that Gambia's oil is safe and secure and nothing will happen to it. A way to give people the assurance that yes, he is aware, he knows what is happening, and because people are concerned. And we are talking about generational wealth. This is something that could have transformed this country beyond anybody's imagination. I mean, if you think of the Gulf countries, I mean, they are super rich. I mean, because they are small countries, not heavily populated, and the land size are not too big, but they have that oil resource which transformed their nation. I mean, and catapult them from, let's say, a third world status, like most African countries before, to first world countries. If you look at places like Qatar, I mean, their per capita income is so high, it's above most Western countries or almost all Western countries. So these are things that we'll expect the president to definitely give a satisfactory answer. You come to the former president's assets. I mean, you would assume that the president would come and say, "Listen, I've given these people, I've given them less than a week or 2 weeks." They will come with a report. They will give you all the list of all the assets of the president. These are things that are available, and they will say, "This is how much they were valued for. These are the people who bought them, and the money that was, realized from the disposal of the assets were used, I mean, in a manner that benefits the citizen. And the remaining assets are still available, I mean, for the public to be aware. And if you want further info, I mean, straightforward, very simple, I mean, answers. Instead of saying we have set up a commission and the commission, people doubt, I mean, the people who make up the commission and people, you're telling them that the commission will go on for so many years, where we've experienced commissions in this country and nothing has happened. So, I mean, like you mentioned, the health sector, there is a failure in the health sector. I mean, most of the equipments, have issues. I mean, we see the skyrocketing of healthcare costs. We have private clinics. What would the president do so that every Gambian can have affordable healthcare? This is a very big concern. I mean, you look at the number of students who are graduating from school every year. This is more than 20, 30,000 students graduate every year. What plans do they have? I mean, how can they address the issue of unemployment in this country? I mean, I've heard of young people going, I mean, the back way to get to Europe. I mean, what plans do they have? Not, things like we have 30 or 50 or 100 people going to Saudi Arabia or Spain, where you have more than 30,000 students graduating. I mean, that is not the solution. I mean, these are issues. Now, I mean, it's the rainy season. We know last rainy season the yield was very bad, especially for groundnut. I mean, the quantity was not that much. A lot of people, there was a lot of delays in paying the farmers. So up to now, they've made some credit purchases, credit buying of groundnuts. We understood up to date. Some people said they've not been paid yet. I mean, what would the president do to make sure that those things are addressed? And what's the position of government in terms of the coming rainy season? Do they have fertilizers? Do they have the equipments that are necessary for the farmers to be able to be productive farmers in their areas? I mean, these are myriad issues in terms of mentioned security. I mean, security.
That brings you to my question. Yeah, the security aspect, because recently we have seen a lot of armed robberies, a lot of killing and other things. So this also I think is a very key issue that need to be discussed with you as a person with the experience.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of crime, and the police are really trying to do a lot of work, but when the will is not there from the authorities, that is, I mean, the will has to come from your country is your house. It's just mostly based on your attitude. I mean, your behavior. I mean, and the way you manage your house. A country is based on the way the authorities, the leadership, how how they care, how they approach, how they manage the country. If you have a laissez-faire attitude and said, you know what, I mean, it's democracy. Everybody can do whatever they want to do. For me, our concern is just to go to work and make money, and we don't care too much. Then things will happen. We know that the former President Yahya Jammeh when he was in the country. You can say so many things about him, but security was a thing that everybody knew that people were secure. Wherever you go, you know that people will be very, very careful. To at least, wrong each other in terms of, robbery and the crime rates, and even drugs use. So many things. So it's up to the leadership. If you really want to address something, you have to be serious about it. There has to be commitment. You have to invest what is required so that those who are given the responsibility, to address those issues, can address them. But if you look at where the government has interest in, it's mostly politics and how to retain, or how to, remain in power. That is why within this short period of time that they've been in leadership, an area that they've excelled the most is building bureaus. Because that is the main concern for them. You look at the president and his government. Their primary concern is to have bureaus everywhere, and that is something that has been very easy for them to achieve. They said in all the regions, and they have built bureaus that are very expensive. If you put that aside, in terms of logistics, mobility, vehicles, they've been successful in that. They have, more than enough vehicles to cater for their political needs. So basically, that is their interest. If the same amount of commitment, was given and prioritized in areas like healthcare, like security, we should have better police stations. We should have enough, logistics, motor vehicles for our police officers. They should be motivated so that they can deliver. But the motivation is only given to politicians. And you look at the people in the country, the ones who tend to be doing better are those who are either, in the government top leadership, that is the president and his cabinet. They're all faring very well. They drive very good expensive cars. They have very nice houses. They have enough money to take care of, not only their basic needs, but even, to live luxurious lifestyles. But you look at the average Gambian, or if you are politically connected, even if you are not within the cabinet, but if you are a sympathizer or a supporter of the government, and you're well connected to the party, you have opportunities. They give you business opportunities. You grow, you develop. You tend to do well in the country. So priority is given to politics and their affiliates or business people who are connected to the government, who are almost in cahoots with the government. So the priority is not really for this current government to really develop the country. To build the capacity of our youths, to alleviate poverty, to really fight poverty, especially extreme poverty and hunger in this country. Unfortunately, it's a problem. So the government, with I don't expect much from the government. And in terms of security, is insecurity is rampant. There's the crime rate is everywhere, and there's a cause for that. There's a reason for that. It's because of extreme poverty. What do you expect of people who are young and able, and they have the energy, and they've been to school, and there's no employment for them, and they have to survive. People must survive. So either you create that environment, that conducive environment, whereby everybody will have an opportunity to do something and be able to live a decent life. If you don't do that, if you fail to do that, what you do is people are smart, they're informed. If a few people would, find a way to steal the resources of a country, it's about, let's say 100, we're 100% of the country. If 5%, or maybe even 2%, of the country are able to 5% of the people are able to control almost 95% of the country's resources. So the other 95% of the people, you expect to share 5% between them. So it's economics. The problem in our country, it all revolves around economics. If the economic situation is not good, or what will happen is that people will find ways to survive, and to survive, sometimes they will do things that are illegal, that are immoral. They will steal. They will cheat. They will find shortcuts. They will give and take bribes, and so this is all encouraged by poor leadership. I mean, bad administration, and neglect of the responsibility of our leaders, of our president.
Okay,
And
Mr.
his
Mane,
people.
bringing you today to still at this zona.
Mhm.
So, will it be necessary for the president, after delivering the State of the Nation address, to have interaction with parliamentarians,
Mhm.
to have interaction with members of
Mhm.
parliaments
Mhm.
in order to entertain questions?
Well, in fact, that's the way it should be. I think because it's going to address the National Assembly members, the Parliament, and those are representatives of the people, of the bigger society. So we expect that they are there for us, therefore, our concerns, and at least they should look into issues that are of concern. They should know the problems of the country. And I believe everybody in the National Assembly knows the problems that their constituents are facing. So therefore, they should be given the opportunity. I mean, the media houses, the journalists, and National Assembly members should be allowed to ask questions that should not be deferred. Because sometimes you'll ask, they tell you, okay, this land ministry will come and address that issue. I think the president should be on top of things. I mean, he should be the most informed person in this country. I mean, he can say it in any language that he feels comfortable. And for me, even I encourage the president to speak in our local languages. I mean, it's good. I think it's fair to ensure that at least the general public can understand what he's trying to say. Because when he speaks in either Mandinka or Wolof or Fula, it seems like he speaks with more confidence. I mean, he's more comfortable, and the message usually sometimes mostly gets through, even if you disagree with him. So I think he should try to address the SONA in the local languages, and he should have an interaction with the National Assembly members. He should entertain questions from them and give them, definitely answers that, But that's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. That's your thoughts on and wishes that the president will address the nation.
Yeah.
Mr. Mania, before leaving you, I think maybe we don't know when we are going to meet again, because I just want to take this opportunity
Yeah.
to highlight to shed more lights on your party, because
Yeah.
since after the by election at have their word,
Right. Yes.
after releasing that
Yeah.
audio, we haven't heard
Yeah.
about Mr. Mani
Correct. Yeah.
again. So people will be like, what is PAP up to? People's Alliance Party up to?
Yes.
Can you tell us what is the next political move of the People Alliance Party under your leadership?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you mentioned that. In fact, we were the 19th political party, well, at least at the moment, the 19th political party in the Gambia. Recently, one has been registered by the IEC. Yes. As a political party, I mean, I've always mentioned to people that I am not, I am not a politician. I mean, I'm not a politician because I'm not a very good politician. I'm because I've almost encountered almost all the political party leaders in this country. Most of them, I've met a lot of them. Some I haven't met directly, but I've listened to their speeches, and but some of the ones that I've met. So I'm not a politician. I am, if you may, I am a missionary. I am. We are on a mission.
But it's like it's
Yes,
still
yes,
politics.
yes. But
Mission.
yes, it's politics. Because there's a lot of people when you mention politicians, I mean, they have their doubts, their concerns. I mean, they don't believe in politicians, and rightly so. In fact, that is one of the reasons why, I mean, we also entered politics, because we found that a lot of the politicians, there's a lot of fake people in politics. And these are things that, I think we must, Gambians, I think, are smart enough to know that a lot of people, so we have to weed them out. I mean, not to say that to ban them and for them not to stand, but people should recognize, should know those who are genuine and those who are not so genuine. I mean, I can understand if you set up your political party to just come and look for opposition for you and a few people within whichever government comes into place. Well, that's your cup of tea. If you set up a political party because you have another agenda, but what is disheartening is for people to set up political parties, thinking that they can use it, to I mean, at least climb up to political positions, whether it's definitely the top leadership position or to be closely connected, so that they can enrich themselves, to make money for themselves. I mean, for power, for authority. I mean, and you find that a lot of people, during my encounters, I know a lot of people are really obsessed. I mean, with the presidency, they're obsessed with power and authority, and unfortunately, that is not us. What we are doing grassroots politics. we are doing original politics. We want to grow organically. So as a party, we've been going around, we've been meeting people, we've been selling our agenda, and we believe that before 2026, in fact, before end of 2025, we will likely be the most dominant opposition party in this country. Our target is to be, to sell our agenda and to make sure it's the best agenda to convince Gambians, and we are doing that. We're informing Gambians. We're not trying to be too loud or too flashy about it. If our message makes sense, if it is coherent, Gambians will buy into it, will fall for it, and that's what we're doing, and we are succeeding at doing it. Because the people that we've interacted with so far, they are satisfied. People, what we've not done the most, that's why I said I'm not a politician. Because people, any little thing that happens, and it's part of politics, I understand, is that you would have to go out and tell people, because sometimes, well, we're not politicians who would flip flop, say this today and tomorrow we say another thing. There's consistency. But that one we can say there is not a single political party that we're not saying we are the number one, but we're second to none in terms of consistency. Since we set up the political party, that is one thing. We know where we are heading. We know what we want. And we are going towards that direction. The second thing is that the message that we have, the agenda that we have, the manifesto that we put in place, which is in English and Mandinka and Wolof and Fula since 2021. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I know of our party as the first party that I'm aware of which has its manifesto translated in the local languages. And it's very simple. It is very, very clear, and it makes sense. What we are saying to Gambians is that this is our country. All of us. So we must promote unity in this country. I mean, Unfortunately, what is happening in this country is that people are trying to promote, tribal politics in this country. And we've mentioned that in 2021, we've said that the political landscape will change, and because this tribal politics will change in this country. Anybody who is into it will not succeed in this country. But by and large, Gambians are not tribalist. I can tell you that. I've interacted with people across all tribes and religions. People are not tribalist. What happens is that there are some politicians and some supporters of politicians who are either directly or covertly, trying to use tribe and to either promote their political one ideas or to increase their political opportunities. Is if we should come to power within 3 months, nobody would talk about tribal or religious issues. That is number one thing we will fight. The second thing is economics. Most of the problems in this country has to do with economics. The economic situation is very, very bad. The health sector is because of the economic situation. In terms of people not having employment has to do with that. In terms of not having good roads and